The markets are holding their breath. We need to talk about it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and if we ever got further regulation over the apps on our phones, there probably wouldn't be much applause for app laws. Quick little side note for you. I still remember, if you guys know the applause lights that used to come on for live studio audiences for television. When I was little, I thought that said applesauce, and I had to ask my parents why they always had a sign up that said applesauce on it. Turns out, it didn't say applesauce at all. Let's move on from there. We're going to talk about SPY, QQQ. I'll also do an update on Bitcoin, and then 3 stocks I've been talking about recently, NVDA, Tesla, and NVDA. I'll give updates on each one of those in this video. So bringing up the SPY right now, tracking the S&P 500, down below the 50. Right now, the market's pretty cautious, going back now in the pre-market hours near the open yesterday before we had a little bit more of a sell-off. Now, mind you, as per the markets holding their breath, well, we could come back up to this 50-day, and then we really want to see that retest of resistance. As that comes in, if we get rejected at resistance, we could see a further sell from there. If we break through that resistance, then we could have more upside coming in, and this would be just one of those brief little pauses that we would get in the market. So that's most definitely something to watch and to consider. We were at one point up at 524, moving all the way down to about 503. So we're dabbling into that 4 to 5% territory. 5 to 10% is considered correction from the top down to about where we're at right now. So we need to be watchful of that. There's a little bit of talk right now about some hope that we have some de-escalation over in Israel. And right now going on hope isn't really a whole lot for that. So we're going to have to watch and see if something else comes out over there. By the way, that is going to rattle the markets. And so we just want to be prepared for that. I would say right now that it's too soon to tell what's going on. But the longer that we have peace going on over there rather than more attacks going on, that's going to be something that's really going to help out the market. So just strictly speaking about the financial aspect of this in the markets as we see it right now. Right now we're sort of okay-ish, sort of calm-ish, but that 50-day is going to be the real test. When we look at the Qs, it's going to be a lot the same as what we saw with SPY. Again, still recovering just a little bit, sort of drifting back upward after the sustained sell-off that we've had over the past little while. Now for QQQ, we were at one point up at about 448. It looks like let me see the high price coming in right here, 449.34. So we almost made it to 450, and then it dropping about $17 back from there. So we're about 4%-ish, 3 to 4%, not in that correction territory, just something that we want to watch out for. So the 50-day, like I said for SPY, for QQQ is going to be that test right now around 438. Now, mind you, the slope of that can also be an indicator for us right now, sort of flattening out. If that goes negative as far as slope goes, that can also be a sign for us that maybe we're going to see further correction coming in. But right now, getting the earnings season, those earnings are going to be large determinants for what we see coming out for that. Going over to Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now still suffering a little bit, putting out a little bit of a bear pennant right here. Will we see that 55,000, almost 56,000 coming out for Bitcoin? That possibility is in there. And I still think over the next 6 to 12 months, imagine we come back to that 51, 56,000 mark, that we could still over that next 6 to 12 months hit that $100,000 price tag that I think that we're absolutely capable of. I don't think that's a straight shot that we take to get there. With risk assets selling off, we didn't make it to the 77,000 in the near term. And right now we're sort of moving a bit sideways for us, trading in between about 72,000 all the way down to about 62,000. So that $10,000 range. So we'll see if we continue to see support. We have a lot of low wicks coming off of Bitcoin right now, showing that buying pressure coming in. We'll see what today brings for us as Bitcoin fills out. End phase yesterday, I said that we closed on Monday just outside of support. We had a little bit further of a sell, finding some buyers coming back in around that 108 level, but we still are out of this formation, and the RSI is bearish right now. We could see a further sell coming into that. So even though we're nearing that golden cross moment of the 50 and the 200, we still need to get back up over those moving averages. So we have those as resistance to watch, but should we be able to clear the 200, that golden cross moment could happen for us, especially if we find historic support right around that 107 level, where you can see that we were sort of flattening out along there. We got a bit of a gap to get back over. So if we're able to get back up into the formation, get back up over those moving averages, we could have that golden cross moment and end phase could really take off. I think it's absolutely something worthwhile to see that we are kind of coming off the bottom of this and then being back upward again, that we haven't returned back down to those lowest levels that we saw right around $76 per share. So watch the moving averages for end phase. Watch to see if we make it back up into this formation. If we get rejected off of this trend line, then we could have that further sell coming off of that. Or if we get rejected off the 50-day, that again could be another sign that a further sell is coming our way for end phase. Over to Tesla. Tesla didn't quite reach the low that it did last year around this time. So going all the way back here, the low price that we had was 152.37. And then yesterday during the market hours, we saw, let me see, the low price 153.75. So about $1 shy of hitting that low price. We could find significant support here leading up to those earnings. We could stay within this trade, in this range. We're going to have to see, certainly within this trend line that we have here. The earnings coming out next week on Tuesday, April the 23rd. So be watchful for that. It really is going to be a coin flip moment. We could see a much further sell, or we could see that the pain has been priced in, and then we could also have significant upside coming in for Tesla. Now, mind you, I think EV sentiment overall is down right now. I don't know that we see that rocket ship come off yet unless Tesla would have something huge to announce. So if I had to put a bias on this, right now I'd have to say sideways or down. I don't know, unless a lot of the pain already being priced in and then we get some alleviation coming off of that we actually have finished selling off into that, and then we end up buying the news, in a sort of an inverted way. So moving on to NVIDIA. NVIDIA finding significant support right around 850. I said over in the Discord through my Patreon, that link is down in the description, that we would not see these lower levels very long. We ripped back up over 900, sold off again with the rest of the market. As I said, we most likely would. And I still think, just to keep putting this back out there, that we could continue to see, especially if the market stays about where it's at or goes higher, that $1,000 prediction that I have by their earnings coming out near the end of May. I think that we could see that either just before that time or just following that time, depending on what their earnings have coming out for us. So that $1,000 price tag, that's my price prediction. Be on the lookout for it. If the market does happen to sell off significantly between now and then that significantly mitigates the ability to hit this level. So be on the lookout for that I do put in that caveat. Market's got to be about where it's at right now or a little higher in order to really make this come to fruition. If we don't see that happening, then well, the market sell off instead. So that means that the market multiples are also getting cut, and then NVIDIA could be affected by those multiples, making this much less likely to happen. All right, guys, that's my update for you today. Thanks for watching. I'm going to see my buys and sells and how I'm playing this market. Link for the Patreon's down in the description. Also, if you want to learn to do technical analysis like I do and benefit from the markets, you can do that finding the link for the technical analysis trading course also down in the description of this video. As always, guys, I really do appreciate your time here. Thanks for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.